Welcome to the TraxGenie desktop version demo for oil and gas clients. TraxGenie is a complete asset management and maintenance solution designed to answer three questions. What assets do I own? Where are they? And what condition are they in? What, where, and how? Our process is to first assess your situation with a Lean Six Sigma process improvement approach. Then we inventory all of your assets using our teams and our partners to perform that task. Then we upload your data into our cloud-based solution and train your people in the system to make sure you have the proper support and highest possibility of success and benefit. We will walk you through the process all of the way. So, let's get started. Since our solution is cloud-based, we start on the TraxGenie website, www.traxgenie.com. Every client has a specific company ID. Each user has a specific login ID and password. This will take you to your company's data. It will start with a dashboard that contains a map showing where your operations are. That can easily be turned into a satellite map. But if your company is spread out all over the country or the world, don't worry. Dashboards can be created for each property and are accessible from the Properties tab on the right. From the Properties tab, you can select multiple other configurable dashboards. This particular view shows you the total entities, units or people, total assets, and the number of work orders that are in the system. Various other configurable dashboards are available here in the drop-down menu in the Properties tab. Here is the Assets dashboard. If you mouse over any of these colored areas of the bar graph, it will tell you what asset category that color represents and a total number of assets in that category. Click on it, and it will take you to a list of that type of assets like liquid meters or H2S sensors. The Work Orders dashboard will show you the total number of work orders that have been generated and what phase they are currently in. The same with purchase requests, total number, and the various stages that they may be in. We can create entities for grouping assets to some more granular searchable group. Here we use the two fields that this client operates in, but the naming can be done to fit your company's operations. Then you can assign the specific entity items to that group. The first icon in each of these asset class lists is people, because there are certain people assigned to a particular entity and because you often assign assets to people who are either using them or are responsible for them. You can click on a person and it will show you their name, employee number, if they're an employee or contractor, and their job title or description. Then click on Assign Assets for each person and it will show you which assets have been assigned to them, the asset number, when they were assigned to them, and when, if they were returned. It's a simple way to keep track of what things like trucks, laptops, phones, radios, etc. have been assigned to each person, and if and when they returned it. Click on the back button to return to the entities, and the next icon is Units. Here we have recycling facilities, H2S sensors, the yard where equipment is sitting and available for use, and the office where additional office equipment is. Let's click on the recycling facility. This shows us all of the assets that are at that recycling facility. These include tanks, skids, pumps, and many other assets you might find at a recycling facility. Here on the left is an asset type list. Where you click on the list, you will notice that many of these assets are grayed out. That means they are already assigned to some kind of facility. You can filter this list to look at the details of the things that are unassigned to see what is available. If you move an asset from one facility to another, you can click and select the move out date, and then it becomes available on the tree on the left. If you need any of these assets, you can select it, put in the assigned date, and it will be assigned to that place or person. This is how you manually assign an asset to a facility. You can automatically update the location of any asset, like a truck or other movable piece of equipment, by placing a tracker on it. Then the system will automatically update the location when it moves. So that way the location on any portable asset is constantly tracked and their exact location can be seen on the map at any time. If you have consumable assets in one or many locations, like a supply store or warehouse or repair shop, we can track which rack and shelf it's on and how many of them you have available by putting QR codes on the shelves. Then, as those items are consumed, we can trigger a restock notification according to a minimum on-hand requirement. You can also manage your restock levels by monitoring the usage of these items. And of course, you can easily generate manual purchase requests for things that do not have an automatic purchase request turned on. So, we saw the people, the units, how to assign assets to the units, and we saw the shop and how to look at inventory on hand in that shop. This next screen is the fixed asset screen displaying all of the fixed assets that are in the system. Here we can see what they are, who they are assigned to, and all the basic details. When we click on Edit, we see the asset number, name, where it is assigned to, the type, category, condition, description, model and serial number, and the asset tag number. It can tell you who you bought it from and when it was capitalized, when the warranty ends, how much you paid for it, and how much you can depreciate it each year. It tells you if it's assigned or not, and in the case of a tool, it can tell you if it's part of a tool kit with the group name. It can also tell you who is responsible for the maintenance and repairs of it, what type of contract you have for that service, and even include a picture of the asset. This is the basic information on every asset in the system. Now we'll look at locations. When you click on this button, it toggles between list and a map view. You can zoom in on the map and mouse over each item in the image, and it will tell you what that item is. This is very handy when sending contractors to service or repair the asset, because work orders will show the vendor doing that service or repair exactly where the asset is located. On each asset, there is a checklist for the operators. This way you can track the conditions like fluid levels, pressure gauges, visible leaks, noises, or any other anomalies that the operator might see, like drops of water by the liquid meter. And of course, it documents when the item was checked, as you may have some regulation where these assets must be checked or calibrated on a regular basis, and this documents that compliance. If it's a portable asset, again, we can put a tracker on it, like the trucks, for instance. You can sort the list by type and see who it is assigned to, what the date of purchase was, and its current location on a satellite map. Also, any tracked asset updates its location in real time. We can have a warehouse that is common for multiple supply stores where you can keep a larger volumes of consumables and then distribute them to the smaller supply stores or shops. That way you can get larger bulk purchasing power when possible. Next, we have the work orders. Here you can see all of them, whether they are repairs, preventative, or analysis. You can click on them and see all the details of the work order, like the date it was issued, the vendor, the description and condition, and service required. It also shows the progress and the work that was done, along with any comments. You can see the invoice and the work order service ticket details. So instead of an Excel file and a bunch of emails, all these records are kept in the system where they can be easily analyzed for making better management decisions. You can also have work orders that are analysis reports or other things that are not assigned to an asset. You can process requests for approval for expenditures in this section as well, like this work order to repair a suspected hole in tubing. You can see why the request is made, what the cost will be, and who needs to approve it. You can list the AFE code, the property code, and the general ledger code. It also documents all the comments made by all the parties involved in the request and their resolution. So, in the asset list, you can click on the asset and see all the work orders that have been issued for it, when it was done, and how much it cost. Now let's look at jobs. This is a good way to track asset utilization, especially for tools. If you click on the details of any job, it will give the description, like add perforations to a well at 35 meters depth. It says who the client is, project manager, the location of the well, and the start and end date and its current status. It also lists the assets required to perform the job. In this case, it's a perforation toolkit, and it also lists its overall condition. Then on the right side, it lists the individual pieces that you are taking in this toolkit, like the perforation gun, cable, pipe wrench, and their individual condition. Then you click Take It, and it shows when the tools were taken, what date they were removed from the shop. Once all this is correct, just hit Confirm and save the changes. Also, it stores when it was returned and in what condition. Next, we have purchase requests. Here you can select which supply store it's for, whether it's a manual purchase request or an automatic one. You can see the requests that have been submitted and their status. The automatic requests are based on the minimum on-hand levels of items in the current stock on hand. It will request the purchase of the difference. It lists the item, the unit of measure, and the requested quantity. If you are an approver, you can check the list, change the info, and either check that it was received or approved. If you go back to the dashboard and click on Purchase Requests, you can see all of them and their status. Now, let's look at reports. These are very simple Excel-based reports. They're built in for stock of consumables, consumption, approved purchase orders, work orders, total assets in various categories, and all that information on each one, and a work order escalation report, and all within a specific date range. The next is definitions, which is mostly for initial setup. Here you have the ability to fill in all the drop-down menus for all assets. Asset types is very useful because you can upload, say for compressors, the manuals for each type, whether it's a manufacturer's manual or your own company maintenance or operations manual. This is where you create custom checklists for each type of assets, so the operators have a reminder of what they should do when they arrive on site and are able to document those activities. When you click on Parts, you will see a list of spare parts for each type of asset that are kept on hand, where they're located, and how many are in stock. The materials catalog has a complete list of all the parts that you need to have on hand at any given time, with pictures and locations divided up by category. You also have a vendor list and what parts are supplied from each one, at what price, and whether or not they're the primary vendor for that part. You can list all the contracts that are in place, what it's for, and which vendor it's with. The system lists all users and which property they can access. For every user, there is a role that they provide and what approval rating they have and who gets to do what within the system. The system will generate all of your QR codes for assets and consumable asset store locations. We have work order types according to how you do business. You can set up all the codes like property codes and general ledger codes. In the Company Settings, General Settings tab, you will enter the currency you're dealing in, the time zone you're in, and upload the company logo. In the Configure tab, you can change the label for property, unit, and people to better fit your company vernacular. Here's where you can set up escalation levels, when these work orders need to be escalated, and to whom the notifications need to go. And finally, in groups, you can set up groups of assets like toolkits for certain procedures. The last button is actually used for setting up the company's assets. That's how we upload Excel templates for each of the data sets that are required to build your company's database. Once finished, we thoroughly examine all the data points in a test environment to make sure they were uploaded correctly and look for any errors before we go live and set up client access and training. You can also set up your own profile with a picture, etc., your password, and other things of that nature. So that's the TraxGenie web interface. Thank you.